Hi, welcome to our Lent Devotion this week. Our devotion for this week comes from the book of Matthew, chapter 26, verse 30, and I'll read. And when they had sung a hymn, they went out to Mount Olive. So who are these people who are singing? This is Jesus and his disciples. They had just finished taking their last Passover meal together. And Jesus had just led them through their very first Lord's Supper, and they had just eaten together. And now, after that, they sang a song. We are not told which hymn they sang, but they sang. And if we read this chapter above, we can see that at this time, Jesus was facing such a difficult time. He had just predicted that he's going to die. He has just been anointed for burial. We also see him telling the disciples that one of them is going to betray him. And so it is such a heavy moment. It's a dark time that he's just about to face the cross. He's about to die for our sin. A moment where he will face ridicule, great agony. And he even told the disciples that they were going to depart him. He'll be all alone. But even knowing that what lies ahead, suffering lies ahead, he sang a hymn. And that is what I want us to focus on. That Jesus knew that suffering awaited him, but he chose to sing. And for us, as long as we are part of this world, there's so many challenges, so many suffering that we may face. We may not face like what was awaiting Christ, death, through facing the cross. Our suffering may look like maybe we're going through an illness, through maybe we're having difficulties with bringing up our children as parents. There's broken relationship, there's heartache from friendship, financial challenges. Maybe you don't even know how you're going to pay your bills. But what a good example from Jesus here. Though his heart was heavy, knowing what awaited him, he sang him with his disciples. And I would like for us this season of Lent, as we think through the death and resurrection of Christ, that even amid this suffering, we will have to endure things, we'll have to endure suffering. May we also respond as Christ, may we sing him, may we look to God. That's the aspect of enduring our suffering. Why would we sing? Singing is a way of drawing close to God. When we sing, we are reminded of God's goodness, we are reminded of his character. We can sing songs from the Psalms. The Psalms exalt God for who he is. And so we will not focus on our suffering, our situation, our difficult situation that we may be facing, but it helps us to focus to God. And so when we sing him, we find strength. So one way that we are strengthened, when we sing him, we draw closer to God and we are strengthened. Because when we are suffering, the temptation may be to be discouraged. Our body are weak. We are prone to give up, to be worn out, to be weary. But when we sing hymns, when we sing praises to God, when we worship God, God strengthens us. We are reminded of his character, of how good he is, how merciful, how kind he has been. Another thing that he does as we sing is that we find peace that surpasses understanding, because God lifts our soul in that state when we were feeling so sad, so low because of the suffering, and now we sing him of praise, of rejoicing, of just acknowledging who God is. Our spirit is renewed and we find strength. So this is just an encouragement for you and me, that in moments we may find ourselves in suffering like Christ was, may we choose to sing Him. May we draw closer to God through worshiping Him for who He is and for what He has done. Thank you.